Damn it! I forgot the secret callback level here. Damn.
Yes, you did. That's actually a legit shame. Oh well.
And I love that Richard Dawkins tweet when he tweets as a New York Post and says, "Please stop calling me Dick Dawkins."
It's not funny, guys. Please.
And they basically went, "Eh."
What's he talking about? That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know, right?
I liked it when Richard Dawkins defended pedophilia in academics. Well, you know, condemning that same thing from the Vatican and the Catholic Church.
Let's be fair, Pope Francis is legit more progressive than Dawkins is.
You mean the latest Pope? Yeah, he's kind of
Yeah.
seems to be right. He's the only one with that name. Anyway,
Pope Francis is an absolutely amazing man, and I am behind him 100%.
Yeah. While
South
I am
American Catholicism is completely superior to European Catholicism in every way.
It's also
Yeah, I
really...
But then again, he's very Franciscan in the way he's doing things, which I'd say is also a good thing. Which is interesting since I'm actually an agnostic, so I tend to be pretty much against
I would say use
You know.
more dragon power.
organized religion, but you know,
Oh
that's
wait, that was koi power.
Whoops.
Dragon power.
koi power.
Oh hey. These guys are not even on challenge. On this.
Just tanking him with the bullets.
Well, he's wearing his, Space Marine outfit.
No, it's this guy. If they talk about that guy and he only lost one leg, that's just going to shame his family. So I'll just cut up the corpse a bit more.
Really?
Then again, brag like, oh my god, he lost all his limbs and got bisected in half. That's how your
That's
father died.
supposed to be bisected in some other way.
He was bisected into thirds. But how does that even... I know!
He lost seconds.
Zilla holds him cop shop from here to Okinawa.
Yeah, that's right, it's storming
So,
outside.
I guess that as long as we go north, it will be fine?
But north is dead. Then again, if we go, we are dead, so I guess it makes sense for us to go north.
Yeah.
There he is.
Oh hey, look who this.
Oh boy, we're actually gonna have this discussion, aren't we?
We're really enjoying dying of dehydration in here.
Take a pill. I'm in the
I'm
docks.
sorry, what are we talking about?
Constantly
The hell's
just did a whole
romantic
bunch in the chat,
It's a
and
monster with the body of
I
a
can just
lion
imagine this
and
going
hands
into
shot
uncomfortable
teeth
places.
with a scorpion tail.
Guys,
And
stop
there's one
fucking
here.
talking about
It's also
religion.
the name of a ship,
Please.
a tanker.
Yeah,
actually.
let's not have a
I've
super
seen plenty
serious
of
discussion
ships,
about
but no
this.
tankers.
All we're saying is he's a bit of an improvement, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's automatically a very good guy.
Find dock number 5. We're
Do you guys
downstairs.
see this game that I'm playing?
Also, yes, I mean, come on.
We just hang out in the chat.
To discuss
You're going to need to work on the
sophistry
hard
and
part.
Or politics and religion. Oh hey, another. Some of these are really better than others.
I'm just confused as to why they're not actually fortune cookies. I mean, they're just like random quotes and stuff.
Were the original ones actually fortunes?
Well, sort of. They were like those joke Confucius ones.
With all the L's turned to R's.
Not quite that racist.
There's a crane attached to the ship. I need to get this out of my way.
Please done, right? Oh, that's right. Maybe I should show this off. Let's go to the options menu quickly. Audio? No. Wrong. Game and HUD.
Wrong.
And here under melee weapon, you can change your melee weapon skin.
Oh man.
And
Are
an
you
option-
going to use the penetrator?
I will leave it up to the chat. Do we use the katana, the ice axe, or the penetrator?
Fucking really.
Yeah, that's one of the things they showed off in the big E3 trailer, and people went, really? Jeez, rolled their eyes, and then basically wrote off Shadow Warrior entirely.
Well, I do like the idea of the ice axe. But actually, it's not a pick, is it? So now I'm kind of disappointed. Yeah, just leave it to the katana, I'd say.
Well, the ice axe is not quite as offensive, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that would be sort of neat, showing that one off.
Well,
Because I don't
honestly,
think anyone has ever used that playing this game.
also the penetrator, I can't really call it offensive. It's just stupid.
I like how when the CEO of Activision got fired, he walked out with that thing under his arm. I think that is a really great way to leave your job.
It just reminds me of that scene in The Jerk, when he decides to leave his house.
Oh,
Actually,
wait,
this weapon kind of looks neat, so I
Yes, yeah.
I remember actually did show off the retro level. It was at the beginning.
Oh, well,
Just that these levels sometimes are a bit long. There's something behind here. Hey, does this change my animations? So one thing that I haven't showed up yet is you actually can control the angle of your skin. It follows the mouse cursor.
yeah, so kind of like Mountain Blade.
Yeah, I was about to say some Mountain Blade shit up in here.
It's not that responsive though, so it's not the most useful features.
It's not in Mountain Blade either.
Well, is it
Perfectly
actually
fair.
used for anything? Because
You
in
could-
Mountain Blade it is sort of a tactical decision. Not a
Theoretically, you
important
could
one, but,
use
you know.
it to control what part of a demon's body you are, dissecting.
Yeah. Avoiding armor and the like. Going straight for the lethal head chop. Oh, now how to activate that crane?
Am I missing something obvious? Maybe past. Oh yeah, there was money.
Man, Serious Sam 3, I never did figure out how to do the whirlwind attack in that one.
Oh man, we should play that co-op once.
We should, I actually still have it installed, I think.
I was playing it, but then guys got kind of angry at the game and stopped.
Serious M3?
I did get halfway through it with blood, I think. At some point, and then we sort of stopped playing for no reason.
Like, the first levels of Serious Sam are really kind of boring, I will admit.
They're really
Yeah.
terrible especially for Serious Sam, it just doesn't
Yeah.
work.
But then the game actually begins and it gets really good.
All right.
Oh right, I now
Lights are
remember
out.
what happened. We had issues with the game type randomly switching to a public server. So then all of a
Right.
sudden we got complete strangers in it.
Yeah, I think that happened when I streamed it way back when also.
But you actually streamed the game?
Well, I have a distinct memory of playing it in multiplayer at least. I'm not sure if I ended up streaming it, but it seems likely.
I
probably-
it being streamed.
Yeah.
Did I miss something very obvious just now talking? Because I pressed the button, but the brain is I'm such a scattercat.
Yeah, now to search the entire level for that one button
I
you
think
forget
we
to
should
press.
go back to the console room. Yeah, there's enemies here.
This is good game design.
Well, it's more that I'm also sort of distracted talking to you guys.
Well, yeah, but still, it,
So yeah, I'm not entirely up to par on what is happening.
it does feel like a flaw if somebody can just obliviously walk past, actual progress.
Well, I found some money there, but
Where did those enemies come from?
they've been gating him all the time.
They were in the bathroom. First time we passed through.
Money.
Just they randomly spawn after a
I
while or
don't
something.
really have something to buy at the moment, so
You always need more Zenny.
fire brother from that.
I do find it interesting that we're actually using very traditional ceremonial coins as currency.
So about the weapons, also there are other ones that you get for buying special edition. You have the sledgehammer from Serious Sam and what was the other one? I think one of them was a Team Fortress 2 weapon.
Yeah, it was the Pyro's axe, wasn't it?
Now look at that.
That seems kind of
Because
boring.
Koi got upgraded, you can now Koi the enraged guys.
Neat.
Always bet on Koi.
This guy is surrendering.
Too bad for him.
And now I am sort of trying to remember if there is some sort of
Damn it.
symbolic significance to the coin and what it is exactly.
The Koi.
It is one of the most powerful creatures in Japanese mythology.
Because I do remember part of Japanese creation myth being that a koi was, well, part of it. I really don't remember it very well.
That's actually amazing because Kois have been selectively bred to have those patterns. It's like
So
one of
there
those
was this-
dwarf, it's like a dwarf chihuahua being the god of the universe.
Yeah, well, you know.
Have you never played a Cobra game?
Oh, Cobra. Is that the legendary dragon Cobra or not a Cobra?
Well, I do know that Norse mythology had a cow that just sort of existed at the very start of time
Yes,
and created the first man, so, you know, there's that.
I thought that
Or was
came-
the first giant? I don't remember.
I
One
thought
of-
that came from that one giant whose feet had sex with each other and then birded something.
Yeah, that used to be a big icy field and then a cow started licking something.
Yeah.
Where did the cow
Yeah.
come
Yeah,
from?
if
I
I
don't know.
remember, you
It
had
licked the rocks salt,
And then a
from
head
the
came
rocks
out.
it licked the shape of a man, and that became the first giant.
And that,
then-
oh, it was the first giant, right? And from him the world was created.
Yep.
See, that's actually something that is in the big book of mythology of mine. I should actually look up that Japanese creation myth since, you know, now I want to know what it was. Let's see here.
I like the one where Izanagi just jizzes in the sea
Pretty much, yeah,
and
that's
causes the Japanese islands to rise.
that's only for the Japanese islands though.
Izanami gave birth to them. Oh wait, that was Kyushu.
Yeah. Okay,
She-
this is
basically
the
Izanami
Norse
gave
one.
birth to the entirety of Kyushu.
Oh right, and lava was the blood of the
I
giant.
think also Okinawa and what's the most northern one again?
Hokkaido.
Yeah, Kaido.
Also, apparently, according to Norse myth, humans are made out of trees.
Yep. The only two surviving humans after Ragnarok will be brought out of tree as well.
Interesting. Then we have the cosmic egg, which is Chinese creation myth. And here we go. Floating world. It's a. Damn it! I need to read the entire thing. I do like creation myths that sort of don't actually talk about creation, but just go, the world was at the start was blank, and then something happened, and then it became the world we know now.
All kinds of shit went down, y'all.
Well, I am, you know, abbreviating like crazy, yeah, summarizing like crazy.
I'm just really fond of the ones that, I mean, like, physically do not make sense. Like the Norse one that, well, you see, there's all different levels of a giant tree. And you're like, but what is the tree seated on? Oh, well, you see this place. Okay, so what's below that place? Well, we don't talk about that.
And then there's stuff like, actually, wasn't there also a serpent that held one of the worlds together, one of the planes of the tree?
Yep. The Midgardsorm, or Ouroboros, as it is known in...
Yeah, and then Resident
Yes.
Evil made the crazy bit of story about that.
Ouroboros. God damn it, Sharon.
Ouroboros, yeah.
Bitch.
Let's see,
One of my favorite things in Resident Evil 5 is that no one pronounces the term Ouroboros the same more than once.
Ouroboros.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ouroboros.
What do you know about Ouroboros?
Yeah, and then there's an... Actually, that's not a dragon, it's a snake, but there's a
Yeah, it's a
snake that's eating the
Something.
roots of the gold tree,
Nice, spot on.
yeah, it's gnawing on it.
which
And to
is...
think, all this time, I thought it was pronounced Arabo Ross.
Ouroboros.
which is Nidhogger, which... And I completely butchered that pronunciation, whatever, I'm Dutch.
Yep.
Anyway,
Barber.
yeah, he may be thinking it's a dragon because that game Volgar portrays him
Yeah.
as a dragon.
Yeah, typically Nidhogg is shown as a dragon, but it's basically one of those ancient serpents where we're not entirely sure what they actually look like.
Yeah.
I mean,
it also has to do with romanticist artist.
yeah, I was just getting to that. That basically the depiction of even of what a dragon is supposed to look like was completely different back then.
In fact, we know very little about the Norse religion as it was, because a lot of it got just plain lost, and then the romanticists got their hands on it.
Yeah. First you had the early Christian missionaries that basically sent back a message making up all kinds of bullshit to make Norse mythology look more heretic than it was. We all know that wonderful painting, the Midvinterblut, when they're sacrificing cows and pigs and even humans, just cutting them up, hanging them from trees. Never happened. Human sacrifice has never been part of Norse religion from day one.
How would you sacrifice a human in a northern climate? That's very wasteful.
I know, right?
You can get away with it in, like, maybe it's tropics or something, but
Yeah, or in societies like the South American empires where you didn't actually produce enough food to feed everyone.
By the way, since, you know, we're sort of on the subject and I can't actually find it in this book, what was the deal with Fafnir again?
Fafnir.
Fafnir was one of Loki's children, I think.
It was a big old dragon.
Wait, he was a dragon?
Yep. And then Sigurd cut him down and became Sigurd Fafnirsbane, which means Sigurd, killer of Fafnir.
Yeah, I figured as much. I guess
And,
Fafnir thing works as well,
Yeah.
if you wanna, you know, Americanize it.
And then, while they were cutting up Fafnir's body, he accidentally cut himself and managed to get some blood on him. And then he realized from coming into contact with the blood that he could suddenly understand the language of the birds, because dragon's blood is super magical. And the bird said, wow, look at that fucking idiot, he doesn't realize that his best friend is going to betray and murder him. Ha! What a dork.
That's a great thing.
And then,
That
then the other
does
bird
sound
says,
like-
wow, what would you think if he knew that if he bit into the heart of the dragon he would become invulnerable? Jeez. And Sigurd went, oh. And then he grabbed Fafnir's sword, bit that shit, and, well, he became invulnerable. And the first thing he did was gut his friend. Because fuck that traitor.
Yeah, Norse mythology are a lot of fun, which is one of the reasons why I tend to read them. And then there's stuff like Thor going to the land of the giants, which is a great legend.
Damn it.
Yeah. He did that quite a few times.
Yeah, he did.
The
There's-
most famous one being when they Freya got kidnapped, decided that, or rather they. Let's see if I can remember this correctly so that I'm not lying here.
I should have it in this book somewhere, the very famous one. Sadly, I don't really remember where every legend is. Oh wow, this is Irish legends. They're pretty great too. Let's see here.
I also forgot this tree, restoration.
No, this one is about Thor being pretty much going, oh well, I'm bored, let's go to the land of the giants. And then getting horribly emasculated at every turn. Which is a great story.
And then Loki basically went, you know what, I'm horny, so he turned into a woman and had sex with a horse.
I thought he turned into a horse and then had sex with another giant horse.
He did that as well.
Oh,
Trickster legends, bro.
Loki is pretty great.
Yeah,
is.
tricksters and like Norse mythology are also kind of interesting.
It's fire lords.
Oh wow, I actually have a bookmark on the page about Thor, so that's... I guess I really like that story.
The interesting part about Loki is that he wasn't always a bad guy in the mythos, and he was actually kind of liked by, I think, farmers and such, because he was also a god of the heart, earth.
Yeah,
The
I mean, he
fireplace.
was a trickster god. I mean, basically as a general rule, trickster gods are helpful, but also dicks.
There was a tale about basically some guy said like a monster come after his son, so he asks Odin to find a way to keep him safe, and Odin like thinks of this plan, but it fails, and he barely saves the kid and just gives it back to the guy and says, "I'm done with this." Then he asks Thor, and the same thing happens. Then he asks Loki, and Loki actually manages it. But I forgot specific of the legend. I think he hit the kid in like some nest, and then when the monster came, it got stuck in the brambles. And how did it go again? Yeah, my memory is really failing here to remember what happened there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the how in the Marvel universe Loki is a complete dick and also evil, which is kind of missing the
Loki
point.
is
But
way more interesting than Thor.
then again, you know, that is sort of comic books and mythology in general.
Oh, damn it. Oh, that's nothing. Right, so this game, huh?
So yeah,
This
right, we're
game
playing
right
a game
here.
and not actually reading a book and talking about that. Which reminds me, I was looking up something about Japanese, or a Japanese creation myth. Should probably get back to that.
Were you
Look up,
warrioring any shadows?
If you want the Japanese creations with myths, you should look for Izanagi and Izanami.
Yeah, but that's creation of Japan itself more. There's also, and I guess it's from one of the local tribes that got eradicated, but still. It's technically Japanese, I
See
suppose.
the Ainu people.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, actually. They have a creation myth in which the world started and there was a big fish. And then, you know, stuff got created by the big fish.
Damn it, wall attack. I was not prepared for the wall.
And like the whole idea that the tides were created by the fish, you know, breeding.
God damn it. Fuck it.
I always love those stories because it's like some old dude telling kids, you know, once upon a time there was this big ass fish. And kids are like, wow, how big was it? As big as the entire world. And you're like, you're full of shit, Grandpa, seriously.
Well, in the time, what era are we talking about?
Well, this would be almost prehistorical, really.
So you have a good reason that Grandpa would know what he's talking about, because he survived longer than you.
He was there, man. Saw that fish.
So yeah, you probably would, you know, be inclined to sort of take Grandpa at his face value. Unless you have reasons to suspect that he's kind of getting on in years and not very bright anymore.
Yeah, well, before the written word, and perhaps more important, the empirical science, you sort of basically had to trust what older people said was true.
And occasionally we could have, you know, stuff written down, but
Sometimes those old people talk about Captain Burns sentence.
You know what the
That's-
game needs? A tower section. Grandpa, please stop.
so wait, does that shield actually do anything or is it just to be annoying in a new way?
Keep in mind that these fireballs are only doing 1 damage per hit.
Man,
Because I have
turrets.
the fire resistance upgrade, it actually reduces the damage of fireballs as well. Now I need to peacock a bit.
Has there ever been a game where actually, using the tower is the better idea?
Actually,
Good idea
yes. We
here.
were playing War in the North yesterday. In the third section,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
early on, were really good actually.
I suppose
they were
it's
legit
still
fun.
with exploding bolts.
Oh, I know where it's
Opposite
a good
against that.
idea that one mission of revenge is.
It was also because, the very start of the game was horribly boring to play.
And the red spawns, you just mount the gun, then you get enough combo to mass rank the mission to get the hit.
Yeah, but I mean that's only for that one enemy, more or less.
Oh, by the way, I'm getting some complaints in the chat that the game is too loud.
That's probably due to all the gun that is going on.
It's probably because of the Gatling gun. But oh hey, there's the statue. I was here for that. Let's give it this MP treatment or whatever the Walking Dead virus called.
Yeah, that's not semi-blank stack, by the way.
Oh. Who was it then?
From The Walking Dead? Which Walking Dead are we talking about again?
The one with the big the ice axe and the little girl, I think.
That doesn't really ring a bell. I don't think you're talking about the one that's based on the TV show.
Yeah,
we
but
talking about Larry?
Walking Dead. No, we never talk about Larry.
Why do we have an ice axe from The Walking Dead then? If it's not in The Walking Dead.
Well, I'm not
It
sure if it's
is.
actually in the comic itself. It's one of the guys wields an axe, I guess. But then there's the
it's in
TV
the video
series.
game. It's just that we haven't reached that episode in our current playthrough.
Oh
That's
shit, I'm scrolling The Walking Dead stream.
Oh shit, really? That Walking Dead game?
yeah.
Because I remember that one being also based on the TV series, which is a completely different setting, really. They sort of completely diverge from the comic book lore,
I'm,
so to
I'm
speak.
still waiting for
that's
the,
true,
for the
but-
Walking Dead FPS game to drop enough in price so that I can motivate myself into getting it.
It seems like a game that's, well, it's writing a check that it just can't, cash in.
And
It tries really hard,
it
and it
just-
sort of fucks up.
puts scars on my soul that it's terminal reality that's made it.
If only they got a really classy developer to make it, like Wild Hawk Studio.
Yeah, you care to talk a bit more about that? Why exactly does it bother you?
Because terminal reality back in the good old days, back when I was a PC only gamer more or less, made some absolutely fantastic games, topping it off.
Oh, we're actually caring about the plot now.
Oh wait, I'm going to check out, so keep on talking from me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well.
But we are going to hear some revelations
Alright.
Okay.
that might bring us on another path.
Yeah, honestly, that doesn't really surprise me, Art, because from what I've seen from the game, it seems like they had the potential to make something really good, but then, I guess through management errors, shit just sort of went wrong.
I think it's more.
Because reading
I
up
think
on
it's-
it, I see a lot of stuff that sounds like it could be really, really amazing, but
I
they
think
just
it's more due to
get it.
Activision just doing what it usually does, just have a bunch of developers pretty much make a game that. Oh,
God damn it.
Our little friend, writing his name in a snowbank again. You really think he'll get a note so a copy for us? Why wouldn't he? He has to be here on Master Zilla's orders. Remember what we were told about him? Effective, but unpredictable. Nothing we can't handle.
Zilla knows about the legend. He wants the whole artifact.
So, when we meet Kyokugami,
You want me to be your wingman? Don't worry, I got your back.
that's not what I meant. They think I'm here on Zilla's orders.
Sure.
Damn it. Alright, proceed.
Proceed. Well, see,
well, I
back in
guess
the
it's mostly due to Activision just doing its usual thing, having developers make a game, not give them enough time, and then somehow expect to turn a profit, but still, just disband the development team anyway.
Yeah, it's a real shame because I really loved what they were trying to do. they just sort of, didn't succeed at all.
Actually, this is a really terrible place to fight these guys.
Oh wow, you sort of went robot there for a moment.
Oh,
So
I
did
died.
Wait, really? Oh.
Explosions.
Well,
Just surrounded by shield Uni and then everything blew up.
He used their triangle attack. Right, resume last checkpoint. So what are you guys talking about again?
Terminal Reality, the developer studio.
Yes, proceed.
That
the, Walking
started
Dead
out
game.
back in the ancient days, I was about to say. First they made a few racing games, well, driving games I should say, they were pretty good. And then they made a very successful shooter for the original Xbox.
So, when we meet Kyokugami,
That was one of the original Xbox's launch titles, more or less.
that's not what I meant.
And from there they went on to create a few games just warming up, and then they made Nocturne, which I to this day regard as one of the best just third-person action horror games ever made, which was so technologically advanced at the time that most computers couldn't even play the game. It was basically the crisis of its time.
Craftsmanship.
yeah, it's a
I
shame
remember
that
playing that game
recording
when I
went
was
wrong.
younger, and since, our computer wasn't really all that great, I think I pretty much played at something like, 5 frames per second
Yeah.
average.
I mean, it had real-time shadows and lighting, which at that time was rather unheard of, because, I mean, having a 3D graphics card was still a bit of a luxury.
I can imagine it being a bitch to program as well.
Oh yeah, since they basically had to build the entire thing from scratch.
Yeah, because these days you've got all those neat little shader functionalities. You didn't have that at the time.
Yeah.
You couldn't just, talk to the graphic card and tell it to do stuff.
I also remember when the demo came out, and they said that yes, demo will require 128 megabytes of RAM. And people went fucking ballistic.
Ah, the good old days.
Then they
Nice.
managed to work it down so that the release version only required 64 megabytes of RAM.
I really should find the little press statement of Bill Gates going, "We'll never need more than 256 kilobytes of RAM ever."
I think The Simpsons said it best when at one episode there are Apu reminisces about his computer science education, and the little thing goes, in 10 years computers will be twice as powerful, 4 times as large, and so expensive for me that 5 rich skins of Europe can afford it.
Yeah, which is basically a rewritten quote from Science magazine.
The 5 richest skins of Europe.
I actually have
that was the bit that he rewrote, shall we say. But yeah, they basically said that the problem with modernizing computers is that increasing processing power would mean that we would need a dedicated buildings to house them.
Let's just find
And
and get out
then
of
we,
here.
that
sort-
sort of happened, I guess.
yeah.
Oh, damn it.
But then we sort of invented this clever thing called the electronic transistor. And suddenly we didn't need freaking vacuum tubes to make our computers work.
Yeah, I actually once talked to my dad about programming, and he started talking about vacuum tubes, and I was completely confused for a moment. What the shit is that?
Back in the
Jeez.
good old days.
You see, son, in my day we had an abacus. What the fuck?
An abacus, man, that's gonna be great.
You see,
Well,
it
to be
was
fair-
this thing with wooden balls, and the balls could count the numbers, you see? And then Jamon is just confused as hell. What the hell is that talking
Well,
about?
I
Also
do love that. I actually have a computer science textbook here that I actually used fairly recently, and it states that one day in the future we may be able to have multi-processor
Flamethrower.
systems, and we
Always
can have
want
multiple
one of these.
CPUs programming.
Flamey.
Hey,
And then
guys.
I'm like, yeah, that's great. We have these now.
That seems like a very dangerous flamethrower.
None of
That's-
these weapons do particularly well made. Honestly.
That seems like a flamethrower you could use for a minute.
Jeez. But since we're talking about, you know, abacuses and we're playing a game set up against Asiatic culture, we should bring up that the abacus is still in frequent use in both Japan and China. Especially in Japan, where you can actually be a licensed abacus user.
It's like being a mentat
Interesting.
from Dune.
I
Well, the
don't
thing
really
is, you can't get certain jobs unless you're a licensed abacus user.
Oh yeah, I should show off the weapons.
which seems kind of silly to me because a lot of mathematics you don't actually need to use any sort of calculator, you just do it in your head.
Yeah, but it's easier to prove that you're right if you're doing it on abacus live, so to speak, instead of
I
saying, oh, it
suppose.
should be roughly so and so, and people will say, okay, where's your evidence?
Well, you could just, you know, jot it down on paper and give a mathematical proof, but
Yeah, but that takes,
I
a,
suppose
that
not
takes
many.
a lot of time.
and it also, you know, requires the other person to actually put in some effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's basically the wonderful thing about an abacus, because an experienced abacus user is faster than someone using an electronic calculator.
Well,
Like I said, they're like the mentats from Dune.
honestly, if you really want to get into that territory, there's a lot of calculations you can do faster in your head
By
than
the way,
actually writing them out on
can
a
I talk about the
calculator.
flamethrower a bit.
Yeah, let's get back to the game again.
Deemed unsuitable for ethical warfare.
Found its niche in corporate munitions market. Solar upgrades, fire bombs, ammo extension, and damage. Pretty
Unsuitable
straightforward.
for ethical warfare, but not necessarily, you know, unable to use it for ethical warfare. Kind of wonder how you would do that.
Well, first you need to get a license to use it on the proper animal that you hunt,
Yep.
and then
Well-
it's ethical.
But what if the animal is man?
Well, that man isn't. Oh hey, dude, talking about man, yeah.
Burn, baby, burn. Time to
And
set
Lo
some
Wang is
gas
loving
on fire.
this.
So you get the flamethrower just before you start fighting humans again.
Yep.
Tasteful.
Well, sociopathy is a hell of a drug.
I suck at math.
Anyways, the flamethrower is not very good. That's what I
Yeah,
expect.
it doesn't look like a very good flamethrower, really.
Where did that come from, Shiny? You're a little bit late in that discussion.
You know.
Yeah, I
It's
could
called
do a lot
fashionably
more-
late.
Yeah.
I could do a lot more damage just cutting these guys up.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
also
removed that guy's,
cause less
upper
horrific
torso
pain and
there.
screaming.
I must admit I'm not too impressed with the graphical representation of the flamethrower. Not
Then
quite
again,
the...
I don't think I've ever played a game with a realistic flamethrower, so hey.
well,
think
Return to Castle Wolfenstein came kind of close, I guess.
There are not a lot of games that do the flamethrower, you know, make it an actually good weapon. Like all I can remember is Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah, it is, but it also has a very neat little animation for it.
Yeah,
like,
but even then, in enemy territory, it was sort of situational weapon,
yeah, I know.
where you only
But
took
still.
it for certain segments.
Like, I think that's the closest we get to a realistic flamethrower animation. It still looks pretty good these days, actually.
So yeah, I'll probably spend some money upgrading the flamethrower, but it's not a very great weapon as is. Because you can do a lot more damage just swinging your sword. And it has about the same range. Like if the flamethrower had a wider area of effect, it would have been a better choice.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with flamethrowers in games. They're kind of like shotguns. Once you go past like 10 meters, they
They're
become
like
completely
shotguns.
useless.
But without the burst damage.
Yeah, it's damage over time, and usually it's not nearly enough.
I'm just always depressed by the shorter range of flamethrowers in games, because
Flamethrowers can carry quite distance.
Which
Yeah.
isn't actually an issue in the Wolfenstein games, I think.
Yeah, the
Demon.
Wolfenstein flamethrower is actually fairly got a bit of range to it. Like,
But-
loading.
Go on.
The Wolfenstein flamethrower had a bit of range to it. Like, you could actually, if you picture battles, you could actually hit someone from across the street, unlike the city bank map. It's still sort of a situational weapon though, since you know not all battlefields are suited to the flamethrower. But you could easily clear out a bunker with it or something.
Oh wow, Conster just went crazy in the chat.
Oh, Gunster, why are you so angry? Can't you just accept the wang?
Hey man, don't start talking about physics in computer games. I mean, I agree there's a lot of stuff that, you know, they could do. Thing is that, you know, theoretical, like, graphics and actual in-game graphics,
The thing is that
completely different things.
Wildhawk Studios is not a very big studio. Oh hey, look who this. Hey.
I mean, if you really want to see what we are actually able to do with our current technology, you should take a look at SIGGRAPH. Those guys, that's a really neat convention. Nvidia actually does a lot of neat stuff on that. Like they are actually able to do, damn it, now I don't remember the term.
Well, if it isn't our own personal savior, and he only let
Alright,
us step there for half
they can actually
our
draw
lives.
real-time ray
Just a simple
tracing
moisture.
Oh,
these
yeah.
days.
When
which
Zilla
is
told us
fucking
why he
ridiculous.
wanted
I predicted
invasion,
that
we
you
thought
were
he was
going to bring that up.
exaggerating. But really, darling, we're quite impressed.
Wait, Zilla knew about the demons?
He said that if you had done your job, none of this would have happened.
Mizuyaki had his own army.
Excuses are unbecoming, love. The bottom line is, you were sent to get the
Emphasis
Nobutsuka
hat.
Kage, and like us, you failed.
You ladies have a strange definition of failure.
He's got it? Curiouser and curiouser.
Whenever you two are finished, we should probably go unfail your mission.
Okay. We'll take the high ground and help you navigate to the Manticore. External communications are down, but this should work within the perimeter.
Test 1, 2. Oh look, you got one thing right.
Don't be sarcastic, my sweet. I liked you better when you were dumb and gorgeous. I told you he was trouble. You did, my dear. You did.
I think I heard some demons.
So yeah, that's actually a really amazing little advancement to be able to do that. To do real-time ray tracing, because that means you can suddenly get a lot better graphics.
So when are they going to be improving the gameplay?
Well, you know,
Hey, no, this is a decent game. This is pretty good gameplay.
yeah, that seems to be
I'm
like
not
two
talking about
schools.
Shadow Warrior. I'm just basically being cynically critical of the whole need more graphics crowd.
No, you see, everything needs to be procedurally generated by algorithms and engines, and then
Well,
you get
as-
a good game somehow.
No, as far as I'm concerned, this is sort of this, you know, this is my specialty, so I get a little bit,
Yeah, but
let's say, spurgy about this
again,
subject.
doing your job is making simulations of those things, right? Or what was it again?
Hmm?
Your job.
Whose job exactly?
Weren't you talking about your job?
Currently I'm a computer science student focusing on graphics, so this is kind of my field, I guess is a better term
And
for it.
you guys are roboting hard on my end.
Yeah, everybody's roboting.
Zilla wants this thing.
Maybe I
wants
should
this thing.
restart the game
His
a bit
sword
again.
is apparently the hotness.
Curious what
Maybe
he
someone
should-
else should be the co-host.
You should move.
Yeah,
to
actually,
Portland and
let's-
start a band.
Well, I suppose I shouldn't do that right now, but I guess
Right,
if we pause just for a bit, I'll take over the call.
right, do it.
Oh wait, then I realized my Skype crashed. So I need to actually restart Skype. Just give me a moment.
What other options do I have to show off while Jamodan tinkers with this stuff? Oh hey, crosshairs.
I don't know if his Skype crashed. How is he still in the call?
Magic.
I like the peace sign. I like... No wait. Yeah, I like the peace sign one. Yep. Giant ass crosshair. Nah, man, how can we miss with this thing, guys? Is this something? Oh, fuck, it's one of these, man.
One of these assholes.
When I shoot that explodey guy first.
I'd say you've seen better days, sweetheart, but I doubt that's true.
What? Damn, two of them again. This is sort of what I don't like when you just start throwing these guys non-stop at you. I think the lower enemies are generally more interesting and the other ultimate team has. There it is.
Just digging around your pockets.
Nice. And say hello to my little friend, so whatever. I don't know. What the hell is that?
Silly lurk. Everything explodes everywhere forever. That's how video games work.
No, it's just... Oh hey, the Watson goes this slow. I didn't know that. Oh, damn it.
I like that they totally Spider-Man you when they grab you, seriously.
Alright,
What barrel?
Blood barrel? Oh, damn it, these guys. I didn't get. These like guys spawning again. So when the hell is the modem coming back?
Never. Technical issues took him with them. Seriously, those flying enemies seem to be just stupid dangerous in crowds.
Yeah, they
Shooting
the
demons is
projectile
like
are a lot
shooting people,
faster
but
than the
without all
normal
the
one
pesky
and
moral
they
dilemmas.
do more damage. So those guys, if they gang up on you, they can be pretty nasty. Especially when I'm dumb and, you know, not circle strafing like crazy. Wait a minute. Something. No, not here yet. I hope I didn't miss the retro secrets. Because I know it's behind the stair here. Oh.
What's this sword doing on a tanker anyway?
It's not actually a tanker. It's a deep-sea excavation unit.
That explains everything.
This ship retrieves things from the ocean floor.
The sword was on the bottom of the sea.
Oh, he's very bright when you give him a chance.
Oh damn it, I missed the secret then.
Damn shame.
No retro secret for this stage.
So, should we take this chance to rehost the call?
Yes. I thought Jamoran was doing that already, but not seeing him in mine.
No, everyone has to leave this call first too, otherwise it's not going to work.
Yeah, but if Jamon isn't online yet.
Well, we can bring him in when he comes online.